Last week, Rockstar released the most recent update to Grand Theft Auto Online, the Santos Drug Wars DLC. The reception from the community was mixed. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But in this video, I want to mainly talk about a mistake that I think Rockstar made. And I don't quite know why they did it. I have a theory. But in my eyes, it actually hurts their player base and their business. So I don't quite understand the motive behind it. But I'm not completely bashing the update. There's quite a few things that I like. For example, the story missions. I really enjoyed those personally. I know some people didn't like them, to each their own, but I thought the story missions were good because it allowed us to earn and work for the new business, the Acid Lab. It introduced new characters, gave us new missions and more of a story for us to go further in depth in, but it also rewarded us with a business that we ended up getting for essentially free. So I gotta say, that part of the DLC was really good. I thought they did a great job with it. They also nerfed the Cayo Perico heist, and for quite a few people, that was a problem. They made it harder, they allowed guards to be able to spot dead bodies, but for me, I actually found that it made things more interesting. You have to take more difficult routes and sort of strategize and use your brain a little bit more. So I thought that was a cool addition to it. That, once again, is neither here nor there. Some people like it, some people don't, but that was one positive even I saw. And the final main one, there's a few other like quality of life stuff that they did that was good, but I thought the new car, the Entity MT, is actually very good. Great to get around the city, quick, great traction. So there's a lot of good things that came with this update, but the main problem that I saw with it, or the mistake that I think Rockstar made, was all of that content that I just talked about was not the majority of the update. And the majority of the update is actually going to be slowly released over the next couple months, most likely. And this is called a drip feed for anybody who's new. It's essentially when they release a title update and they release small portions of content within that update over an extended period of time. So we get the main chunk, and then we get maybe new cars, or maybe a new mission, or a new business, whatever it may be, usually new properties later on. But the way that historically has worked is that the majority of the content came right at the very beginning. And the stuff that was drip fed later on was stuff like cars, things that you could release once a week, and it's sort of exciting, but it's not that big of a deal. It is not the core of the update itself. And where I think Rockstar really messed up was that they kept some big things from us. For example, our first ever 50 car garage will be coming in the drip feed. There's also a taxi company that's going to be coming, potentially a new feature of fast traveling and whatnot. So there are some pretty large features that they're sort of holding out for us, and a large part of the update that hasn't been released yet that's going to take a little while to actually reach the players. And if you're a regular player, you probably don't think this is a problem, because that just means that each week you get something to look forward to. But we have to think about the casual player or the timing of their updates. There's a reason why they drop two major title updates, one before the summer and one before Christmas. It's because those are the times that people are off work. Those are the times people are not in school. People have way more free time in these periods, which means you're going to get more casual players, and of course, for the business side of Rockstar, that means they're going to make more money. And that's where I think they made the major mistake. The majority of their yearly traffic comes in these two blocks, in the summer and in the winter. Content creators make more content, people are playing the game more, and subsequently more money will be spent on the game. And we know that they're trying to make more money with the game because they just bumped the amount of money you get per shark card, which is meant to entice us to buy shark cards. So with all that being said, my question simply is, if your goal as a business is to make money, or if your goal as a business is to keep your customers happy, I think it would make more sense to release the bulk of your content in one go so that the people who are playing in this off time have more content to experience and then have more things to spend their money on. And that's why I'm left a little confused, because it feels like Rockstar has just done the opposite of that. But I do have a theory for why this happens, and theoretically it makes sense that if you want to keep people entertained for as long as possible, you would take the content that you've created and you spread it out, so that each week there's something new, and it's more likely people are going to come back to play the game. But does that really even make sense, right? If people are playing the game more because they have more free time, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to play the game more when they don't have as much free time, just because the game may have a little bit more content. And if anything, if people are playing more now and there's not as much content, what will entice them to come back for the next DLC update if they're let down by this one? I don't know, it doesn't make much sense to me. If someone could help me make sense of it in the comment section down below, I'd appreciate it. I'd love for us to have respectful discourse in the comment section of this video, but it does make me wonder why they did all of this. But I did think up of maybe a potential way that they could actually fix this going forward. And it works something like this. Instead of spreading out your content like they're doing right now, give people a real reason to play the game. Have a good, solid DLC drop. That way casuals and regulars will be really happy with the game. But something that may entice people more than just having a new property you could buy in a week is maybe create more of these story type missions where people go into the game, they play 1 or 2 missions, the story is stretched out across a couple months, so it feels like you're almost coming back for like a new episode of a TV show. Play a mission or 2, and then after those missions, maybe unlock like a discount for a car or something. Give us a small reward, a play to earn. And they recently have been doing it, for example, with the Acid Lab, and there's rumors that they're going to do it with one of the supercars coming out soon. So they may be going in this direction, and if they do, that would be incredible. But if they were to give us like a mission or 2, a story mission, something that we would be excited to play and that we're sort of invested in, like we would be, like I said, a TV show, that would then give people the reason to come back and play some more hours every week if you're casual, or for the money grinders or the regulars of the game to just keep playing and playing and playing and enjoying the game the way they always have. And if we're going to look at it from a money perspective, from a business perspective, I think it's more likely that you'll get people buying shark cards if it's something like unlocking a discount for a random car. People, I feel like, would be more likely to want to buy that car because they have earned it or unlocked a discount for it. And if people are casuals and they don't have that much money, then they're going to be more likely to buy the shark cards to buy that thing. If you're just releasing something that we don't get a discount for, or we don't get to earn, or whatever it may be, I don't think people are as likely or as enticed to buy it, right? No casual player necessarily is going to come back and really want to buy a 50 car garage, so they're going to spend $100 on shark cards. I just don't see that really happening. But I could see a small discount on $1 million car, having them, let's say buying a $500,000 shark card or something like that. And in that scenario, you then, 1, have Rockstar winning because they're making more money, but 2, you're also going to reward your regular players because those players already have the money. They don't need to buy the shark cards, but it's just one more thing that they're going to be happy with Rockstar with if they get a little bit more rewards for the amount of time and effort they're putting into it. And not to mention, the new content is always appreciated. Like I said, my favorite part of the heist this time was the story missions. I thought it was so good, and maybe it's too much work for Rockstar, I don't know, but I think it would be a cool concept to add in, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on it. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.